Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to give you a review of a show on Netflix. It came out not a while ago, but I haven't gotten around to watching it until now. It is called Lupin. Now, Lupin is, if you've kept up with any classical literature, like Sherlock Holmes and that department, you would know Lupin is the Gentleman Thief. Great book series created long time ago. Somewhere in like 1902, something like that. In like the early 19th, 19th something. I mean, this book was created around the same time, or at least it has, it was getting as popular around the same time as Sherlock Holmes. And Lupin, the Gentleman Thief. There's also been an animated anime series called Lupin. You've probably seen that before too, based on the same thing. And Lupin's it's a French novel, so it's appropriate that this show called by the same name, Lupin, is a French show. Now it's dubbed, with English, it's dubbed over with just like any most foreign films. It's dubbed over, and the dubbing is pretty good for the most part. Sometimes you could tell like there's certain sequences it lines up, well, and other sequences it's just like, dude, like the dubbing is a bit rough. But it's never rough enough to distract and take away from what you're watching, so I'm not gonna let that get to me. And whenever they say something that maybe even I don't know, because different countries do things differently, like the way they I can't remember specifics off the top of my head because like in the first episode, but when they were talking about when they were telling the passage of time, they worded it differently, and then they would have to put what America would think this would be. It's like, oh, this is what that means. Okay, so like they do that, but still. Overall, I think the dubbing was pretty good on this. And Lupin is about this this gentleman thief, this world-class thief named Assane. Now, Assane he's like I said, he's pretty much lived his life by the rules of this book, or at least lived his life inspired by what Lupin did in his books. Because Lupin was like this gentleman thief. He was suave. He was charming. He was this lone wolf. You didn't know who he really was. Like the way he went about living his life, and the way in the book, it's a fictional character, but the way he went about doing things were very like I would say if Sherlock Holmes is how people think a detective should be. Like, when people think of a detective, they think of Sherlock Holmes. Like, that's the first thought that comes to your mind is Sherlock Holmes. Every other, cop after that, everything is, based off of, it comes down from that. Like, if you typed in best, fictional detective, Sherlock Holmes would pop up number one. And if you typed in best fictional, thieves, Lupin would probably be number one. In fact, they came out with a book called Sherlock Holmes versus Lupin back in the day, which in my mind I was like, holy shit, that's a big deal, man. That's gotta be like I was like, that they actually did that book. I don't think it was called Sherlock Holmes versus Lupin because apparently it got kind of caught up in copyrights and shit, so they couldn't call him Sherlock Holmes. They call him something else. But still, Sherlock Holmes versus Lupin just sounds amazing. I was like, wow, that seems awesome. But anyways, the main story is about Assane. He's a black gentleman. Like I said, it starts off and he's just, you don't really know what's going on. All you know is it's one of those kind of movie shows where it just starts off with him in the middle, with Assane in the middle of trying to do something, and you just going along on the journey, and then eventually near the tail end of the first episode, you really go, oh, okay, this is what this is about. His father was framed, it's one of those things too. His father was framed by this super powerful family for stealing something. For stealing a jewelry, in fact, a really valuable jewelry, and which led to his father's suicide. And Lupin knew his father was innocent. He felt his father was innocent. He felt in his heart that his father was innocent, and it kind of changed him a bit when he was a kid. He was about 14 when his father died, and his father, in the book his father gave him on his birthday, the day before he got arrested, was Lupin. And he enjoyed Lupin. He enjoyed the thought. He enjoyed how it worked. And he wrote down. And even in the book, he wrote down how this wouldn't work now, but how could I make this work? How there are ideas and things in the Lupin book that are well, that is real. And I gotta tell you, as you know, this show is really fun. It's really fun. It's really smooth, especially that first mission. The first job he does, it got me hooked immediately because you're not sure what's going on. You're not sure how good this dude is. By the time that first episode ends, you're like, damn, he did that shit. He got what he wanted and got out of there so smooth, and the multi-layers he was working it on were just beautiful. Like I said, the only problem, I have a few problems with the show, but overall, I enjoyed the lead character. I enjoyed the lead character for the most part. I enjoy him. I enjoy every heist he goes on, well, not heist, but like mission he does. I enjoy the way he gets out of these situations. I enjoy his sleight of hand, his psychology, like his understanding of human psychology. Like the fact that, this is one thing too, that they say a lot in movies and whatnot, and I think, and you know, it might be a true statement, because, I don't know, like, is that a true statement? Is that when a cop flashes a badge at you, most people don't actually look at the picture of the cop, they look at the badge. So it'd be very easy and very excusable for someone to just flip the badge down, have their fingers over the picture, and you would never ask. You would never ask to see it, because, like, if you're, like, because a normal everyday person would never ask to actually look at the picture. The only person who would ask to look at the picture is someone who's aware of a tactic, like someone who is aware of shit like that. You know, that's the only person who would look at the picture, but a normal person would just look at the badge, you know, see the badge, they'd see, like, but they wouldn't need to look at the picture. Like, you could just put your finger slightly over the picture and they just see the official stuff and never see the picture. And I thought to myself, I was like, you know, things like that psychologically, how he talks about how people see what they want to see. How, like, when you recognize someone in a crowd, it's because it's familiar to you. But how you can make your appearance so that you blend in, like not just like metaphorically blend in, like that the natural human gaze does not look for you, like things of that nature. How he just breaks down psychology, how he charms people, when he's charming you, how he just manipulates people to do what he wants them to do and act how he wants them to act, how he predicts people's behavior and how they might react. Like I said, in the first episode, they really showed a lot of that on display, of him just predicting how certain people will act and knowing that they would act that way and being in the perfect position. Like I'm telling you, by the time that first episode ended, I was like, damn, this dude, he is good. They do that thing though where since it becomes apparent that the entire show is around a personal thing. At first, it just seems like he's just stealing something to get back at something that happened in the past. But then it becomes apparent that there might be something bigger going on, and he becomes wrapped up in figuring out. It actually has similarities to, in this kind of way, to National Treasure. In terms of the fact of the character being obsessed with proving that his family legacy, his father's legacy was tarnished, was ruined by this lie, by this conspiracy, and he wants to discover the truth. And while he has the skills to do that, the more the episodes go on, the more emotional he gets, and the more emotional he gets, the more mistakes he starts to make. And like it kind of like, you know, and one of the only things I wish that they, you know, that I thought they were gonna do, because when you see the trailer, like there is no signs of certain aspects that are in it, which minor spoilers. He has a family, like he has a wife, he has an ex and a kid, and he's, you know, because the whole thing with Lupin in the book is you don't know who Lupin, like they said in the book, we don't know if that's actually his name. We have no clue who Lupin actually is in the book. That's the mystery of Lupin. That's how he's been able to stay ahead of the curve, because it's almost as if he's never existed in the first place, because whoever Lupin actually is so buried, is like so buried and so insignificant, whether either so buried or so insignificant that no one will ever know who the real man actually is. But we know who this guy is. And while he is a modern day Lupin in terms of his skills, in terms of his wit, in terms of his athleticism and how quick he's on it and how adjustable he is, like it's almost like he goes into every situation with a general plan. Like, this is how I think I'm gonna go about it, and then he just leaves himself room in the middle to freestyle, to bob and weave, to just mold whatever he sees fit. Like he's just looking around for people, for things, and he's just like, this is how I'm gonna make ridiculous. Now it's not like the show stops to tell you that, but it's always one of those things. By the time it gets to the end of the episode, you're like, damn, he really thought this out. But anywho. I like I said, I enjoyed the heck out of it. I enjoyed a lot of the actors are doing a really good job. It picks up to all the little all the little things going on. Like I said, the only problem is, like I said, he does start to get emotional near the tail end, and the more emotional he got, which I guess that's how they have to do this, because he isn't actually Lupin, which I thought it was. I thought that they were just making a modern day Lupin, like Lupin. I thought they were just doing a modern day Lupin. I thought they were just gonna be like, okay, we're gonna make a modern day Lupin. He's a black man in France. He's Lupin, and like that's it. But that's not what they did. Really, he's basically a Lupin fan. He's basically the greatest Lupin fanboy who ever lived. That's basically what it is. Basically, he was inspired by Lupin to become an actual, real-life super gentleman thief / super thief. Because they say, like, the difference between a gentleman thief and a thief is a gentleman thief will rob you nicely. A gentleman thief will rob you and you don't even know you were robbed. And, like, there was no muss, no fuss. In fact, you might not even know you're robbed 2 weeks later. Like, a gentleman thief, the guy who walks up on you, caresses you, tells you all these beautiful things, you know, shakes your hand, nice to meet you. He takes your wallet. A gentleman thief takes your wallet, takes everything out of it, and puts your wallet back in your pocket. That's what a gentleman thief does, because he's a gentleman. And like I said, like they really put that over. They really put that over, and I enjoyed the heck out of this show, man. Like this is a really fun show. The next season should be coming out soon. Actually, it said summer of 2021, so it should be coming out pretty soon. Not that long from now. They put out a trailer for season 2. And it looks like things are gonna pick up even more. I don't want to spoil how this season ends, but the way it ends is one of those, damn, man. But like I said, the only problem I had with the show really is that like he started like the more emotionally, which I know they were doing that on purpose, but the more emotional he got, the more shit started to go south, and the way they went south, and it's just like, dude, and then he does something near the tail end, and I'm like, dude, you gotta know, you're in this shit now, dude, you're in the shit, you can't just back out. Like, yes, you have a family, and they do play up the whole obligation, they do play it up like a like classic superhero shit, or like where they're like, where are you going? Where you been doing? And he's off doing this crazy shit, and his family doesn't know about it. And of course, eventually, you know how that stuff goes. But but it's one of those things where I'm like, dude, you gotta handle this shit before you go messing with your, like, you gotta handle this first. You can't be messing around and try to have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, and I'm pretty, like, I'm about 95% positive by the time this show ends, or second season ends, he's not gonna be able to have his cake and eat it too, because he's living 2 lives. He's trying to have this family life with his ex and his kid, trying to be a part of his kid's life. He's still being Lupin, he's still being Lupin, still stealing stuff, because that's just what he does. He's really good at it. Like, they show a flashback to when he was like in his heyday, and he's just really good at this, man. He really is. He's really good at manipulating everybody. And he does this thing, I love this too, where his disguises are not as elaborate. Sometimes they can be elaborate, but for the most part, his disguises aren't as elaborate as you would think. Because in his mind, according to him, like, people really like people don't, like, unless you affect someone's life or like they need to see you, people will look by you. And he's like, all I gotta do is like make my eyebrows a bit thicker. Make my eyebrows a bit thicker, put on some glasses, maybe a mole. Like, it's like, dude, all you have to do, if people aren't looking for you, if they don't want to see you, they won't see you. So all you have to do is do little things to blend into the background. Put a cap on. It's like it sounds complicated and it sounds utterly ridiculous. But it's like, if people it's like, man, like, if they're not looking to look at you, they won't. And it's kind of what he does, and he knows how to avoid the cameras and all that. So like I said, this show is really good. I think it's a really fun show. I'd give Lupin an 8.5. I think it was a really fun show. It's got a really wit to it. It's really snappy. Every episode, there's something new and something fun to that Lupin has to do. I do wish that it was less, because I think about this every time I watch shows where someone has an interesting profession. I thought this the entire time I was watching Jessica Jones. I was like, I would love to see Jessica just be a regular detective on a case that doesn't have anything to do with her. Her just be a detective, on something that's not personal. So that way we can see her, just handle it like a detective. And here I'm like, I would love to see him do a heist that's not personal, so I could see him at his best, because right now he's emotional, so you see him at his worst at points near the tail end of the tail end. But I'm like, that's a part of the story, you know, it always makes it a bit better to make the story personal. But even still, like I said, I still would like to have seen maybe, you know, him do something that's a little less personal. I would love to have seen him just be Lupin. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. I still enjoyed this show. I still enjoy it. I can't wait for the second season. I'll be reviewing that when that comes out. I've expanded my palette. I just watched a French TV show, and I dug the hell out of it. So, hey, I'm watching French TV shows now. Like, I just got to keep on expanding it, man. You know, just got to watch some other shit. Okay, anyways, guys, thank you for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please do like, subscribe, and have you seen Netflix's Lupin? It is a really fun show. I think you're going to enjoy it. It's got a nice beat to it. It's a very clever show. I rather enjoyed it. So thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show again. Please remember to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.